Hey yo, what's happening? Let's get it crackin' on Sideway Media. Hey yo, what's happening? Let's get it crackin'. Sideway Media. Sideway Media. Sideway Media.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. We have Julia here. I'm D. Alexander, and we have another guest. This is Jay, my workout partner. I wanted to start by just giving you the opportunity to introduce yourself and let everyone know how you came to hear about me and what your gym experiences has been like so far.
So to start, my name is Jay. A lot of my friends were actually referring to you, just like their own journey with you, their own results with you. So I decided to kind of pull the trigger one day and say, you know what, let's text this guy and see what kind of availability is. And this is my favorite story of like the first day meeting you is actually one of my favorite stories ever, which is upon arriving to the gym, you're just laid up on a foam roller watching Pokemon, like original, like early 2000, like not even early 2000, like late 90s, early 2000s Pokemon. And I'm like, yep, this is the guy that I'm going to be choosing to train with. This is the one right here. And kind of went in first and foremost for like recovery, and then that just turned into a year and a half of just constant work. So that's been it's been fun, actually. It's been actually a really fun time.
Sweet. I want to bring up your recovery story. That's a great story in itself about like a big gym compared to a small gym.
Oh yeah. At commercial gyms, I'm not going to name any names right now, but there was just one day decided to, squat a little heavy, but because of the amount of people kind of just rushing with their own energy, with their own, I guess, impatience, if you will, was trying to grab a weight off of the rack that I was squatting at. Mid squat, he bumps the bar when I'm in the bottom of the hole, and I catch 335 on one side of my back and just collapse. Yeah, not exactly the best way to kind of, have a gym experience, right? But definitely a different vibe when it comes to the big gym format with, you're kind of trying to just go in there and get your work done. Whereas, when you go to a smaller gym, you have a bit more of a tailored experience. And then even then from, what's next, or at least what the work is in front of you, that's always been super great because it's never the same thing.
Sweet. So what were your expectations compared to the actual experience? That's also...
You're going to laugh at this. I had zero expectations, actually. Oh. None at all.
It's a great way to start.
I remember the first words I said, too, was, I'm coming in as a blank slate, right? Just kind of like discarding whatever I already know, maybe applying it here and there of the new stuff that I'm kind of just experiencing now. But I'm so sorry. I just drew a blank.
It's cool.
Remind me the question one more time.
You already answered it.
Oh.
Just the whole expectations.
Oh yeah, that's right. Zero expectations. And the reality was this exceeded any and all expectations, really. From even just pushing the age that I am now versus what I was doing and capable of then has drastically changed. Like, visions of what I want to do, what I am doing now are very, very different in comparison to just, all right, I'm going to deadlift 300 pounds or 350 pounds. Now it's like, what could we do today that's going to make this challenging?
Yeah.
And that's been really, really fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's what keeps me going. I don't think I've ever asked you that question. What were your expectations versus your experience?
I really didn't have any. I didn't have high expectations. I'll just put it that way, just because based on my own experience, it was mostly big corporate, Planet Fitness or 24 Hour, where you're just kind of this one person that walks in there and there's all these machines and you think you know what you're doing and you think you're working out. And I was working out for years, but I don't believe I ever got the results like I'm getting now. So Leslie and Carol were working with you, and they were the ones who said you should go be accountable to somebody else other than yourself. Because I already am a dance teacher. I'm like, why do I need someone to train me? Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they were like, well, maybe it should be nice if it's not on you. And I was like, okay. And then the first day I showed up, I thought we were just going to have a conversation about like what the expectations were. And then he's like, all right, let's go. And I'm like, oh, we're working out. I was like, oh, okay. So, but since then, I have been on a program. I've successfully gone 3 days a week. I think I've barely missed any days. I've been consistent. The changes I've had are much different than what I had in the past, where in the past I was always doing calorie deficits and listening to the media and propaganda and like, this is what's right for you, and starving myself, working out consistently. So I destroyed my metabolism in the process. So, and I did a lot of unhealthy things like weight loss pills.
Crash dieting.
Yeah, all the things. Okay. They're like, do this. Okay. So now I'm, for the first time in my life, doing it the right way. So it's a slow process. That is driving me a little crazy. I'm not going to lie. Because I'm like,
you mean there's no Instafix?
No Instafix. But the health changes have been amazing. I feel a lot better. I feel younger. I feel healthy. I haven't really lost a whole lot of weight, but I've lost like clothing size, whatever. But I just feel better.
Not whatever. That's actually
that's a big deal.
Telltale indicator that you're doing it right. Because remember, muscle weighs more than fat.
Right.
But fat takes up more space than muscle.
True.
So
very much like a body recomp at this point.
Scale's stupid. I actually have been trying not to get on the scale at all.
Honestly, forget about it. I think that there's a reason why Alex put it in the bathroom, so that way no one does like.
I haven't gotten
you can
that
do that
one.
in your own
that's
time.
One of those scary ones. I'm not getting on there.
It's like, is this thing accurate?
Scale.
Does that actually say 198 pounds? Oh, no.
I'm out. But it totally exceeded the expectations that I had. And not just that, like I've met people, new friends. The hikes have been super cool.
Yes,
so Alex also not only offers like exercise, but it in a very healthy way and getting back in shape. But then there's these hikes and networking with people, and I didn't want to hike.
Oh shit!
I didn't want.
I remember that. I remember that hike.
It was like the first time he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna run." I'm like, "No, I'm a dancer. We
which
don't run."
Which hike was this one?
Stevens Trail.
Yeah. Wait, did you go on that one?
No,
I did not go on that one.
So going down was awesome. I'm like, oh, look at us.
Well, yeah, because that's the easy part.
All the way down to the river, and then we had to come back up.
That's what makes it one of the most difficult ones.
And at first, I was all in front. I'm like, yeah. And then it was like, nope. Mm-hmm. And then it was hot, and it was hard.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it. Yep. And then I kind of was like, this is kind of cool. I could do this.
You could get behind this.
I could do this. And then, and the people were awesome. And then we went and had tacos afterwards. So, hey.
Had a big old burrito.
Right. So, and then the second one, we did the Mount Tam. You were there.
Yes, I was there at that one.
That was amazing.
That one, I'm very familiar with that one. That one was
favorite hike.
Super fun. But I would have never thought in a million years that a gym could also actually provide a community of people, you know,
exactly.
which is also part of like the exceeding expectations
Absolutely.
of a gym, right? Like, can you go to any of these other commercial gyms and like, I don't know, be on a group text and see who wants to go to a hike or like do an ice bath together? Like it's kind of crazy, right? Paddleboarding, like river activity, you know, anything like that of that notion. Never have seen that. And it actually took me by surprise at first. I'm not gonna lie, because it almost felt like I got like suckered into it at first, and then I'm like, okay, I think I could get behind this with everything going on. It's like everyone is having fun, and no one feels like they're out of place, really. Like they're all kind of just inclusive, doing the same thing, suffering the same thing.
Right,
sometimes.
we're suffering, but together.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
In a good
every
way,
hike it
yes.
got better and better.
Right?
Because you're getting fitter and fitter.
That and the last hike you didn't go. We hiked up the mountain.
Okay.
Like all the way up to where there was snow.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
But it was beautiful, and it was amazing, and it was really hard because the altitude thing.
The altitude
I was like,
okay.
Way different than Mount Tam.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Okay.
But
okay,
I did it again.
See?
And but it was worth every minute, because now I'm like, I kind of like hiking. I kind of like this connection with nature. I like hanging out with these people who have good vibes, and this is a healthy activity that I'm kind of giving myself for all my hard work. So
See?
Yeah.
It's real giving, you know?
Yeah.
It's real giving.
So I think most definitely my expectations were kind of nothing. I just thought, whatever, I'll go check it out. And then now we're doing business together and networking. I mean, it was a whole thing I did not see coming. And
you almost get blindsided by it, but it's almost in the most positive sense. It's like, did I just get hit with a semi-truck of positivity? This is great. You know?
Is this like, happening? I was like, this is kind of cool, but all right.
It's like you get that text message, you showing up, it's like, I really wasn't, because I know it's legs. Shows up anyway.
Yeah.
All right, we're here.
That's actually one of my favorite things about you is the way you handle the work, because you show up and we have personal conversations about what's going on in our life.
Blush, dude.
And you've helped me and mentored me through different life situations, not exactly gym situations, but you do also help me in the gym situations too, because like some days I don't want to do it with all the people I deal with, working out myself, trying to, organize all this stuff, and I don't even like organizing events or get-togethers because it's not my strength. But you show up with such an amazing energy. I feed off of it, and you pour back into me. You laugh the tough work off, and you still show up and do it, and you also help other people through the process, and I really appreciate you for that.
Well, everyone's got their journey, right? I mean, they're all showing up too. It's just, thank you, actually, because you're the one providing the space, I wouldn't be able to get this anywhere else, so why not nurture it, Why not try our best, because we are going to be the result of our own work, right? So, the fact that it's right there, the fact that it changes up, the fact that, that's all life too, and that's easily transferable. And I think it's a beautiful thing to watch, really. That's really what it is.
It's almost like natural accountability.
Right,
like
right.
It's just not something that was forced or it was just like, you naturally, and like now you two are like accountability or workout buddies, right?
Yeah.
But if he's not available, there's plenty of people there who are like, yeah, let's work. I mean, it's a totally different vibe than when you go to a gym and you're just kind of like, okay. And then now I'm like, I wasn't doing any of these exercises. I was just like,
you would have never,
I was doing.
Right. never would have caught me in a million years doing something called floor sweepers. I'm like, what is this? Upon first learning what that is, like, can my body even move like that? And I'm like watching it. I'm like, well, if he's doing it, that means I should be able to
do it. You just got to like force it to.
Yeah, and I was that girl, like, on all the funny, like, meme videos who's doing the weird
Right,
stuff.
right,
and the
right,
memes
right.
is totally wrong. I'm like, oh, great. I was like, I'm pretty sure I supplied entertainment to.
Oh,
plenty
and
of
your
people.
counting is still, I find it entertaining because I'll tell you, like, yeah, do like 3 sets of 15 of this and that. And then you're like, I did like 3 or 2 3 counts or whatever
8
you
counts.
say. And I'm like, what does that even mean? I
'Cause I'm a
told you to do a
dancer.
certain amount of reps. Like, it's simple math.
No,
like, we've
it's-
all learned it.
No, it's dancer math.
Yeah.
So it would be when I start, wait for the beat to drop. 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No,
2, 2, 3, 4, 5,
that
6,
is
7,
not how it
3,
works.
2, 3. It's how my
So
brain works.
I've counted your reps, and it's like you shorted yourself like 4 reps.
No, because I multiply it by 1 more, so it's 4 times instead of 3.
No.
So if you say 3, I do 4.
Are we talking about time under
It's
tension?
like total dancer math
No.
is a whole nother level.
It has nothing to do with the actual workout. It's
So we're
it's
just
something
not counting reps
Yeah,
here.
yep.
Okay,
That-
okay.
That's
I
what I
gotta
get
work out
from
to
it.
the beat. Like it has to be on.
Yeah,
the
as long
timing.
as, but she shows up with a great energy too, and I really appreciate having you at the gym as well. Knowing that there's another hustler out there that puts in the type of work and effort and love and energy into what they do.
Thank you.
Like, so I couldn't imagine having 2 better people here with me than you guys.
Aw, making me blush.
See, look at this. Look at this positive,
All that love.
positive
So
environment.
let's take it
that's
away
just-
from the positivity.
Oh no, we're
I
going
know.
negative.
You said you had no expectations. You said you had low expectations. I know a little bit of your other gym experiences being a boxer. If you guys could just share a little bit about your fitness journeys years back and bring up some negative stuff that you were able to reflect on and grow from. Either way.
Oh man, where do you even start with that? So back in high school, I was actually part of a like JROTC program. So part of the fitness kind of journey from there, because during those days, it was like the early days of the internet too. So like, you know, searching up during that time, because we were watching like all sorts of movies. We're like, oh, what did they do to get this jacked, right? You know, high school, like high school mentality. And then with the JRTC program, it was just like, okay, we're running, we're doing some push-ups, we're doing just military-esque like workouts. And I'm like, this can't just be it, right? Like, because I sucked at running then. I still suck at it now, right? Push-ups, sit-ups, great. Pull-ups, I was barely able, you know, I was barely able
Say
to
that
do
a
like
little louder.
2, right? But when it came to like actual fitness, it was a very skewed look on it, you know. It's very much how you see like the high school kids going into the gym now trying to like, you know, bench super amount of weight. It's that they're chasing after, you know, what they're kind of seeing now as I guess like fitness influence, you know, from
Trends.
and trends, you know, whether it be like Olympia or their favorite like social media person that does work out, right? So I guess the correlation for me in high school was, you know, seeing these movies like, okay, that's got to be achievable, but how, right? And it was just all sorts of the doing like Delulu stuff. Like it was like, okay, this has got to work. And it just, I think it did more harm than good, but we did it because, you know, our egos are running like pretty rampant during those days. Hormones are also running kind of rampant, so go for it. But during like the later days of high school, I actually ended up getting into a fight with someone, which prompted, and I didn't even know this, but he was actively going to a boxing gym, and I get visited at the school by the coach. He's like, "Hey, you picked on my kid," and I'm like, are you his dad? Like, because I could tell you why he received said,
These
you know,
hands.
these hands. Like, it wasn't really hands. I hit him twice and then walked away, right? And he just kind of looked at me. He's like, show up to the gym and I'll see you there like after school. And I'm like, okay, what do I got to lose, right? It's just an older guy. I show up to this gym and I'm like, oh, there are some very, very dangerous looking people in here. Maybe I did piss off the wrong person, right? Like, I don't even know why I showed up, to be honest with you. He just said, do it. I'm like, okay, like I'll just show up, I guess. And that kind of turned into, because after explaining the situation to him, he's like, well, do you actually want to learn how to do this? I'm like, he knows this, and what's that result, right? You know, being 17, I'm just, you know, talking out my, like, just out my ass the whole time. And he's like, well, you're gonna find out if you're willing. I'm like, let me give it a day. And I left, and the next day I showed up at the gym after school, and I said, what do I got to lose, right? First thing we did, we started running. And I'm like, this is going to suck.
Me.
And he made me run until I was like puking. And I sat there. I'm like, when do we actually get started with the actual work? And he's like, when I think you're ready. And I'm like, how would you know that? Right. And it just turned into a grueling month of just getting the crap kicked out of me from running, getting into the ring, not able to throw like anything. I just had to take punches. Right. So somewhere in my head, I'm like, maybe this is karma for like hitting this kid. Right.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's like, you know what? I'll pay my dues on this one. It's got to let up eventually, right? And I'll never forget, at the end of the month, I got so frustrated that I sent one loose after getting hit in the stomach, and it clocked the guy in the face, and he was the heaviest dude there, and it didn't do anything. Like, I just saw his face move like this, just a quick, like, 90-degree turn, looks at me, he looks back at the coach is staring at me. I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to get into a lot of trouble for this one, for punching another guy out of, like, off the record type thing.
Yeah.
And out of nowhere, he looks over, he's like, okay, now we could start. And I'm like, great. I feel like hell. What's next? Oh, you're going to go run.
Yeah.
Like, wow, so what is this? I got to fall in love with the things that I hate? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and
that is a part of the process.
It was kind of a hard pill to swallow, like at 17, right? Because there was no other like fitness influence that I had outside of just like, okay, my friends are doing this workout at the gym, let me just go follow them, right? So that kind of put me on more of a like very disciplined type of path, even though I definitely broke some rules, you know, very often. You know, you usually will see me or hear me, you know, yelling carne asada fries after like a grueling workout. Yep. And that was because that's just my kryptonite, right? And as a, you know, 17 to 20 years old, just doing this, and the road work conveniently passing by my favorite taco shop, there were times I would go there and I'm like, yeah, I need this. And then he would catch me. And then guess what? I would have to run back.
Oh,
you know? Yeah. So it was a very, very disciplined, very hard discipline kind of like, I guess, fitness experience, right? Yeah. Especially when it comes to, you know, a combative sport, especially when it comes to a coach that just was drilling the hard, like the old ways into you, you know. That it was tough. From there, after I had called it quits from boxing because just suffering too much damage, you know, realizing how much damage I was doing, I'm like, I got to stop this. That kind of turned into, funny enough, calisthenics, which was inspired because of the fact that I bought that PU90X, you know.
We all did.
Oh, we all did, right? Oh man, I bought into that, and I ended up in the mountains doing that. I used to work at a Christian camp, right, up in Sequoia National Park, so not too far from, maybe like four hours from here. Yeah. And I decided to take those DVDs with me and train in altitude because, okay, it's got to, like, you know, skyrocket something. And it sure did. I dropped from
blood
like,
cells go up like crazy.
Whew, I remember getting up there at about 189 pounds and then coming back down and weighing myself at 165. And it was absurd because my strength completely jumped because, like, okay, I could probably do B90X thing. Like, I remember the routines, you know, do these pull-ups at the park by my, you know, house in San Diego. I started doing pull-ups, and I'm like, why did I just do 22 of these? And I was struggling to do like 6 up on the hill. I'm like, oh, this works.
Yeah.
Right.
You develop so much white blood cells
Yep.
when you're training at altitude.
Yep.
And that's what you were feeling when we were on the last hike.
The feeling of like not being able to breathe.
Not being able
and
to
your
breathe.
legs,
And
like,
you're,
giving out on you. Like, wait,
your
they're
soul
not
is
moving.
leaving. Your soul left the body. It's on an
Your
astral
body
plane.
responds to it so well, though. It just starts.
And me and
like,
Leslie were like, we're just gonna wait right here. Rick was great because he was like, you just need to stop.
Ranger Rick.
Ranger Rick
Ranger
saved the
Rick
day.
really he trailblazes. That's the guy.
Oh,
you know? But from after that, I fell off. I'm not gonna lie with any sort of fitness until I discovered, I guess, the traditional bodybuilding in the gym and
That's what
powerlifting
got you into the gym where you got hurt.
Yes, that's where this became like a whole journey too, because when I discovered pick up, heavy cylindrical object, get gains, that was like, yes, I'm so in.
I'm gonna bro out.
This is gonna be great, right? I gotta let this loose, So that turned into finding the biggest guys in the gym and being like, hey, what is it that you do to get, this jacked, right? Obviously, most of the time they're telling me to get on steroids. I'm like, no. I want to know what you know and what workouts you do so I could keep up with you. I don't care being, the smallest guy in the room. I just want to be able to train with you. And that turned into, being friends with a couple, a couple folks getting their pro card and, with the IFBB. Just making friends, casually in the gym, because I was that one guy that would go every day and squat, like every day. All they would see me at is the corner squat rack, squatting some sort of weight, whether it be like a heavy squat day or just warming up my whole day just by putting on a plate, doing about 15 reps for 4 sets, and then going and doing other things. I was obsessed with trying to get a stronger squat.
Yeah. Hey, you got up over 300, which that's a big deal.
And that kind of like also attracted a certain like crowd to you too inside the gym, more of the, I guess the way I could explain it is the more serious guys would, come through and they would like, ask me like, what is it that you keep on doing? And why is it that you squat so well? I'm like, well, do you want me to fix your squat? Right. Like, well, how is it that you're squatting that gets you injured every time? And why is it that I could do this every day and I'll be fine? Right. Let's compare programs here. Let's see what works and what doesn't work. Yeah. And that kind of just birthed its own, thing. And powerlifting was super fun because it was like it was kind of like instant gratification or instant failure, right? Where if you're facing like a 400-pound like deadlift or something like that, it's either you're gonna pick it up or you're not. Like that's it. That's great. Thank you for that. It kind of gave me a little bit of like an ease up on the hard discipline structure of, okay, I didn't hit my target weight today. Why is it? So that way I could adjust the program to get to that weight, right? That turned into, throwing some bands on there, doing other movements, working that. And then I just retained the knowledge and just kept on going. Perhaps my view was a bit more skewed during that time because it was maybe, a little bit more driven by different factors. Number one, whenever I walk into, or when I did walk into commercial gyms, I would just like zone everybody out and it was just me and everything else, right? Yeah. But then if something got in the way, it's like, please move. Like you don't want this directed at you. I am just trying to pick up this heavy weight, please and thank you. Yeah. And that just kind of turned into like just sheer just rage all the time in there. So it's just kind of like a different, different experience when it comes to like going to the gym.
Yeah, I brought that up in maybe our second episode where I used to have the same type of like anger and just like pent up aggression that when he's not sure if boxing did it for you the way that lifting did, but it was a weird transition to stop playing contact sports and go into just the gym work because it's not the same by any means.
Not at all.
But yeah, there is something that goes through men at a certain stage in their life which what our testosterone shoots up through the roof at a certain point, and then we're just supposed to deal with that.
You know, and that also, it's also like kind of, it's one of those things where I noticed that like there was like a strive for competition in a way, right? Or you look at a guy and what they're doing for their work, and all of a sudden it's like, how do you have the result that I want, but you do far less than me? And it just kind of like sparks something in you where you're like, I hate this guy simply because like I know you cheated, you know, like what is this, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Especially with the people that take juice is what
right. If they're on gear or if they're doing anything else, you know, and like more power to them if that's the route that they want to take, right?
I love beating those guys in the sport just because they're taking it in the gym, looking a certain way. Those are still show muscles.
Right. I'm not going to also discredit the work that, you know, requires you to even get to that kind of size, even with or without it, right? But it was just strange to me when and this is also why I didn't want to kind of seek like actual like personal trainers or, you know, someone that's like proficient in their field, because finding them was few and far between. And I had a problem with 90% of them at these commercial gyms because they would essentially like either target me because they were either, I don't know if they were threatened or if like something I said kind of like, you know, put them off or anything like that, or they would just completely disregard you as a human being in there, right? It's like, oh, I'm here with my client, like I'm gonna take this rack from you. I'm like, dude, I just walked off to use the restroom real quick. My belt was on that, you know, on the bar. What are you doing unracking all this weight? Like, are you just gonna like, that was it? Like, because you have a client, like, I'm sorry, but like I was already there. And, you know, maybe on the flip side, it's like, okay, you have a client, like we could have worked in together. I wouldn't have mind, but it's the way you kind of presented and, you know, went about it. And that's where I started having just all sorts of negative like experiences with the gym. And there was also that core group of people I was around that had the same, you know, outlooks on this. It's like, why is, like, I'm pretty sure I overheard that guy talking about something. I'm like, that is so incredibly wrong.
I could relate to that. And what it brought back to my memory was when I was developing as a trainer at CalFit. There were like 500 trainers total. And like you go in there and like, there is the whole sizing people up thing where you see people bigger than you or, you know, their calves pop more than you, whatever it is that draws your attention. And then there's a little bit of like an intimidation factor, and then you like question yourself. And then what I loved was the certification courses when all the trainers come together and you are learning a new topic together. This is something that no one's good at, trying to further our education. And then I love that competition where it's like, let's see who does the best. Like, it doesn't matter what any of us look like. Let's see who performs the best.
Exactly.
That's something that was opportunity to humble other trainers. And then when you see them in the gym, they act a little bit different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They will act for better and for worse in those instances. Whether they're like, okay, they humbled and they're, you know, gonna, I wouldn't say fix their ways, but they definitely go about it in a more neutral, positive versus.
Especially when you're around.
Yeah, right. Whereas my own personal experience is that each time there was like something that came up, it was always like a blowout, like negative, right? And which kind of like, it was just like, okay, if you have this knowledge, right, how come you're not actually practicing what you preach? And also, why is it that me, who never done this before, is outperforming you based on the internet? Right? Like that's kind of a hard one to swallow, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Right. And it was weird because that became like, I get that you need the competitive factor, especially for males. Right. But it didn't make sense when you're supposed to be a representative of like the work that you put out. Right. And you're just not it, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Right? Like,
that blew my mind how some of these trainers get clients. Still to this day, there's all sorts of trainers that when I look at them, I'm looking through them through like a trainer's lens, and I'm like, how do you get clients?
And
Like,
and you see where my reluctance was essentially before I said, you know what, I'm gonna discard that portion of myself and actually give this a chance, right? Because chances are this guy probably knows what he's talking about. And number two was like, okay, this dude's fit as hell and doesn't take anything. He just eats. Like, I need this. Like, this is awesome, right? And it was like up until I got injured, it was that kind of vibe in the gym. It was just like, okay, like if you don't get out of my way, I'll throw something at you. Please move, like, especially if it's someone that like I definitely did not want anywhere around me, right? Mostly those trainers. Or I would actively go to different clubs to, avoid these people. But then you see it from afar, right? You're just like, oh, this happens everywhere. This is crazy. You can't escape this. This sucks.
An epidemic.
Then when I got
Traineritis.
injured, I tried going back to the gym again. And it was just way too excruciating. I'm like, wow, I really damaged my body. I don't have any real answers here. I guess I'm going to have to figure this out. And that's when I really kind of dove into just doing my own calisthenics at home, because I understood that didn't really break my body. It actually kind of like helped in a way. And so I kept that up for a duration of time, and then again, fell off before kind of just reaching out like, hey, who's it that trains you?
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Let me get his number. Let me see what kind of availability we got here. And year and a half later, here we are.
Yeah. No, it was really cool having you come in, because you already had a base level of knowledge where sometimes I could have multiple people in the gym at the same time and have different programs going on, and you'll go over and correct someone's form. And
that was something that everyone knew in the gym whenever I would go. I was the form junkie. I preached like, hey, you got to do it this way or that way or however it fits well with your body. But I tried all the variants. So I'm like, okay, I know this is what's going to hit, I guess, how this is going to feel. I don't exactly have the anatomical knowledge on like what like the actual part is, but I'll at least know, hey, the wider your stance, the more it's going to hit your butt, if you kind of lean this way, it's going to hit a different like target, or if you kind of like push back, or and actually I found out that I was shoulder pressing wrong like 6 months ago because of
your body has been like transforming and morphing because of it. I'm like, what the hell?
It's like,
every time you take like a week off, I brought you up in the other podcast. Every time you take a week off, you come back and it's like, like your body's.
I can't explain it. I could tell you right now exactly what I do, and you're not going to be happy. Carne asada fries. Hell, I had a burrito.
Yeah.
I think guilty pleasure last night. I had a whole bag of chips and some dip. Like, woke up fine. I'm like, all right.
You guys hear
my
that?
body
That's
needed
the secret.
this.
Chips and dip.
Chips and dip. All right. Chips and dip. And the ability to just do the work in front of you, like, please, like, eat what makes you feel at least good.
You show up and you do the work.
And
when something's going wrong with your body, you tell me. I'm like, well, okay, we're not doing this. We're gonna go do this stuff.
And it's that's what I love about the gym, or at least the gym here. It's like you're able to be. Shameless plug, Carmichael Underground Training. The wonderful thing is, it's like you're allowed to kind of be vulnerable, right? In the sense of like, you could tell someone what the hell is wrong in that instance, and you could essentially adjust, or at least give what's going to, I guess, help that, or, therapy work to kind of get that to work correctly, rather than just staying mangled the whole day. Like, who wants that, right?
Yeah, and if I can't help, I try to network out.
Exactly. But yeah, ever since, just even like trying to do this solo, it just kind of sucks sometimes, you know, right? It just kind of sucks in the sense of like, you know, well, one, if I'm not at the gym, it just sucks on me mentally because I'm like, dude, like that environment's so dope, you know?
It sucks on me mentally too when you're not at the gym.
Stop. Again, you're making me blush, man. But the like working out at home is cool and all, right? But it's like, okay, like I'm it's just me versus me. And there's a time and place for that too, which is cool. Like, are you motivated enough or at least, you know, willing to get what you want enough to kind of just do it on your own? Then great, right? Awesome. Do you need that driving force to be by you to like do the work? Great. Do it. Do I prefer one or the other? Absolutely. You know, especially when it's like, I always bring this up too with you. It's this whole like this Vegeta and like Goku kind of like, you know, interaction with going to the gym. It's like, okay, I could do this at home, right? Or we could see like it's kind of like a better outlook on like, okay, we're doing the same work. Let's see if we could keep up with each other, right? And it's like, oh, okay, he's got like 5 pounds on it. You know what? He's probably going to jump up. I'm going to pick these up. I'm going to see what's up. Gets them. Oh, okay. I think we can match. Let's go. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And it just becomes
Make it
like
funner.
Way more fun.
Way more fun.
Way more fun. And it's not like we're trying to like essentially beat each other down. It's almost just like, like bring that weight up. Let's go.
I've been trying to catch you up to me. I'm like, I need some competition in this gym.
No, it's like inspiration.
Exactly.
It's like constantly inspiring each other to like, okay, you're going to hit that level? Well, hey, I'm going to hit that level too. Mm-hmm. As opposed to by yourself, you're like, well, maybe I'll do it later.
Yeah.
It's not as fun.
It's like, ooh, I can make coffee right now. And this will be fine. Or it's like, oh, like the dog distracts you or something else. It's like, you know, it's like maybe I could concern myself with something else other than no. For sake of like, I guess, result or what it is that you're trying to achieve with like health and fitness or whatever that may be. What are you doing to do, or what are you doing to get yourself there, or like what work are you willing to do, right? And that can be either with or without somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if consistency is key, which we know it is, right?
Yes.
And then how many people have gone to all those gyms for a month and then fell off, or 2 months?
Oh, yes.
Because there's nothing there other than like you trying to keep yourself accountable to showing up to a place that you're kind of forcing yourself to keep going to because you want to stay fit. But then with, at Cut Fitness, it's just different because you want to show up and you have friends there and they're doing the same thing you're doing. And then you're all gaining together and then you stay and you keep showing up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then I think I've almost been there a year, maybe. No.
3 more months, I want to say, and it's a year.
Something like that. I've been there, I don't know. I've been there a while, but not that long.
Yeah, you're coming up on your anniversary.
Longer than I've ever been at any other gym. I still have a membership to Planet Fitness. I think I've had it for like 10 years.
Why?
Like that $9.99.
Oh yeah, your grandfather did into the steel. Yeah,
so wait,
yeah,
can I go in there with you for free? Do you have that
you can.
membership? Sweet.
And then I think the only thing I go
just
there
so that anyone knows, if you have a Planet Fitness membership, you could pay me to come and train you there.
Yeah, there's that.
Ooh.
But I go there for the hydro massage. Yep. That is it.
Yep.
Yeah, those
so I'm
chairs are
getting my
amazing.
$9.99 a month.
There you go.
I've tried to cancel it. They don't make it easy for you. That's the other issue. Yep. But
gotcha.
I've probably been there less times in the last 10 years than I've been. Going.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I mean, except for hydro massage. Like that, I'm
That's once a week. I'll happily pay $250 a week for
whenever
this.
I can because it's right by my kid's school. So I'm like, I got time.
There you go. There you
only
go.
15 minutes. I can make it happen.
Nice.
But
that's flattering.
If consistency is key, then finding a place where you feel like you fit in or you feel like you're going to find some accountability or friendships or motivation or inspiration, then I don't know. I feel like that's a that's a very key part of picking. And I don't know if you can either get healthy now or pay for it later. Which one do you want to pay for? I mean, do you want to pay for
what's crazy?
medical bills?
Right,
or do you want to put
right.
your money in, or a little
Do not
extra
wanna pay for
into
medical bills.
finding a place that
Absolutely
helps
not.
you stay consistent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's preventative measures.
Yeah, and then there's DECA too. I've
Whoop.
never in my life done a fitness.
That was my first time
Thing.
too
Was it your first time?
at doing DECA. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was wild.
Oh, it broke me the last
Oh yeah.
two stations, because it's just like 18 minutes of straight go go go. Normally it's
it
like
took me 35.
you could take a break here, you could take a break there, catch your breath. I'm like, no, I'm trying to finish this as fast
Oh
as
no,
I
I
can.
took a break. I'm like, thank you. Would you grab my water?
Run that time. What were we at?
I was like,
22?
I can care less about the time. I just want to make it through and not vomit. Like that's all I'm trying to do. But
I vomited afterwards for sure.
but now I'm like, okay, when's the next one? And now we're hosting one at Carmichael Underground
Yes,
Fitness
we are.
on October
Training,
13th.
Carmichael Underground training. Cut,
Cut Fitness.
not cuff.
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm not getting suckered into this one, am I?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
actually,
okay.
I want you to come
You
and
definitely
coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need
Yep.
another trainer.
Interesting. All
You did
right.
tell me a while back you want to help out, so I'm like,
And you get a
okay.
medal.
What?
I mean, come
And
on.
I think you're gonna get a certification out of it.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Oh, you didn't tell me that part.
So I finally found.
That's what you were
I
trying to tell me.
did tell you.
Oh, you did
I
tell
did
me.
tell
That
you.
went right over my head.
Yeah.
Look.
I was like, you could be certified, and the gym's gonna be certified. So
Oh, that's what's up.
This is the type of thing I was telling you about. Like, we could get a workshop, and you'll just get a cert.
Huh. Okay.
Chung Fu will commence.
Stop. It's just gonna be you. It's just gonna be me yelling at you that your squat form is terrible right now. And you need to fix it.
I'm like, okay, come show me, spot me, hold me close.
I'll also whisper sweet nothings. Just
Oh, yeah.
sweet
I
nothings.
want a kiss on the
Sweet
forehead, too.
nothings. Sweet nothings. But yeah, actually, now that I think about it, the main motivation to actually find you was I got my health report back from Korea, because I did a full, like, their medical system out there is like super great, and it also costs like a fraction of what it would have costed here in the States. So I kind of got this full workup done, and they're like, yeah, your overreactive thyroid is probably going to be the end of you. And I'm like,
Wow.
word. So what do you expect I should do? He's like, you got to work out, man. And I'm like, but my body is breaking. And is that going to even be achievable? And he's like, well, you're going to have to figure something out. And I'm like, all right, let's go.
Have you told me this before?
Yeah.
So do you think
Yeah.
now, Jay, that since you've been working with Alex and the fact that he's doing like the PT combined with the exercise, are you feeling like you're not broken anymore? And,
Absolutely.
like,
Look,
a major difference in like
way major difference in how I feel on a daily basis
Right on.
in comparison to even in like my 20s, like not like 10 years ago. I probably felt worse on a daily basis than I do now. Like my back was stiff. I would always pull something like randomly. I'd be out for like 3 days. Just awkward like aches and pains, you know, like it felt like my bones were creaking for like a good while. And now it feels, yeah, sure, like my ankles pop and like, you know, my knuckles will pop and stuff like that, but it doesn't feel like there's pain, right?
No,
It's
there's a
just like
very
it's
big
more like
difference in-
it's more like relief now versus
Right.
like pain coming like inadvertently. Like my knees used to just take a full beating every single time I would go to the gym.
Well, I also want to ask, did you used to go to the chiropractor back then?
Not as consistent as I do now.
Oh, but you did.
I
go.
did when I would have like major issues come up.
Yeah, because I know you're consistent now, which helps a lot. 'cause
Yeah, at
sometimes
least
it
once
could
a
be a
week.
bone thing, and just so everyone knows, chiropractors are a real thing. They could realign your bones within one session. Probably don't want to work out after you're done getting adjusted, even though I know you've shown up right after sometimes.
You know, well, no comment. No comment.
But it's not advised.
Not advised. Don't do what I
After
do.
a massage and a chiropractic session, take a nap, take some time off, actually recover, and your body will thank you for it.
Absolutely. Don't follow my example on that one. I will just, oh, there's work. Let's go.
Yeah, which I appreciate. That's why you're my workout partner.
But
I need it.
We all need it.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool that you found a place for yourself. Like, you found that after kind of going through all that injury and not realizing you were injuring yourself,
right.
which basically was deterring you from any longevity in terms of movement.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
yeah, that's pretty nice.
Like even now, just kind of just casually moving.
You could have been
around.
headed to like a wheelchair and like, or even worse, walker, you know, all the things.
Most definitely worse.
You see people like that all over.
Once again, I would never have thought to be able to, you know, move the way that I do, or even, what were we in? Like three or 4 months in, you're like, hey, can you climb the rope? I'm like, I have no idea.
Don't you still have a scar because of that?
Yeah.
The
I
way
got
you
this
came back down the rope?
I could jump on it.
Just
but I
totally
just go
like
right down.
cheese grates his own
yeah.
body.
I don't know what I was thinking. I'm like, you know what? Okay, sure, let's try this, right? And it's like, how do I?
No knots. Like, I feel like there should
That would
be some
defeat the
help.
purpose.
That would defeat the purpose of the rope climb because if I recall, the Tough Mudders are just a huge rope that you have to climb up.
That exact rope, just maybe twice as high.
Yikes.
Okay.
And getting up isn't the hard part. And once you get up there and you look down, it's like so scary because like you got to come down and not burn your skin.
Which is exactly what I did on my shin.
I burned my hand.
Yeah.
But when I first climbed that, I'm like, there's no way I'm doing this right now. And I get to the tops and I had to do it twice because you're like, it doesn't count unless you can take a video. I'm like, so I got to do this again? All right, fine, right?
Yeah.
But the first time it was terrifying. And I'm like, wait a second, my body is outside of the fact that I'm shaking from anxiety and like slight fear of heights, right? My body was holding on. I'm like, okay, what we're doing is working. Yeah. Let's keep this up. And then sure enough, climb back down. It's like, all right, we're going to take a video. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
I wouldn't ask you to do it like if I didn't think you could. Because there are people like, hey, I want to climb that. I'm like, you probably shouldn't. Don't do it. I don't advise it, but you did sign the waiver.
You did sign the waiver, so you know.
This would be one of those ones like,
oh, man.
If you do something stupid and hurt yourself, that's your fault.
Oh, no.
Fair.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so now your turn. Bad fitness experiences before.
Bad fitnesses. I mean, I think like elementary
or something
and
you learned
junior
from
high, I was pretty much an all-around athlete. Like I, ADHD, so mom was like, you're doing softball, basketball, football, soccer, you're doing it all, and that's all I did. And then junior high, I was gymnastics, dance team, basketball team, choir, violin. I mean, I was just very busy. Track, I ran. I did track.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I did, not the one you have to run a
Obviously
long
not your
time, not
favorite.
cross country, but the sprinting
Okay.
one. And the one with the little things you hand off. I can't remember.
Baton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's fun. 4x4.
And shot put. And I mean, I was just an athlete all around, but those things were also offered when in the school systems.
Yeah.
A lot of it was through the school, and then I grew up on an Air Force base.
Okay.
So it was free. So my mom was like, you're doing
Let's go.
everything.
Yeah.
So,
Tire this girl out.
right. So it didn't work. I still just probably slept 5 hours a night. Still do. But then I got into, and I always danced. Like there was never a moment in my life where I wasn't dancing. And then in my 20s, I was working more, not really exercising, waiting tables, trying to be an entrepreneur, all this stuff. But I think my exercise was like lifting trays. I'd find a way to like make everything like some kind of a workout. But then I got back into dance again. And And then I decided at that point in my life I wanted to really go serious dance. Like I was older, but I never had the opportunity to actually like train as a dancer. I was always doing so many different things, and then had a kid when I was really young and got married and all that. So in my late 20s, I was like, no, I want to actually go back and take ballet and take jazz and train. And then I was going to the gym. I'm not sure if I actually was doing anything like was helping me, but in my mind I was. But I would go to the gym every day.
Right.
And then I was dancing like 5 to 6 hours a week, and I was teaching dance at the same time. And then basically I kept going in and out of training, and then come to find out after training for 10, 15 years, I was dancing and doing a lot of things with a lot of muscle and strength missing. And then now Alex didn't just say, we're just going to do whatever. It was kind of more like, well, what's going on? I said, well, I have no hamstring, muscles. I have no glute muscles, but my quads are super powerful. And we've been training a way where now I feel my hamstrings. Like, when I would never have felt them before. It was all quads. So, and then we do things like rolling the muscles out and learning, like, it's okay to slow down. It's okay to, take the time to heal something and fix it before you keep pounding the pavement and, thinking that's the best route to go.
Absolutely.
So, I don't like to say there's anything necessary negative, just missing.
Yeah.
Like missing. Like just things where it was because I had great coaches.
It's a great perspective.
And then I had coaches who were maybe lacking in knowledge, or they'd say engage your hamstring. I'm like, I am. But it really wasn't happening. So, and then as an instructor and a dance educator, I'm learning more about how to help my dancers become stronger, and not just say point your toe, engage your hamstring. I'm going, okay, I'm going to teach you and show you, or find you someone who's going to explain to you what that muscle is and how do you make it work for you. So,
Saturday workshops.
Saturday
just so
workshops.
You know, we
There you
cover
go.
all of it. Fitness and dance.
Yeah, so again, like nothing necessarily negative, just like missing.
Okay.
So crazy I find it this late. I mean, it would have been nice to find that a little bit earlier, but
We get what we get, right?
okay, the universe decided this is when it was supposed to come. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm in a different place where I'm able to also use it in the way that I need to too. So I think that's important. So yeah,
absolutely.
so definitely nothing negative. I mean, there's always negative. I mean,
You're just not.
I decided that I don't want to pay attention to that.
Okay. I wish I had that perspective. I tried ignoring it, and then they made it my issue. I'm like,
Yeah,
why?
you gotta make it their issue, because it really is theirs. Like, don't own that.
Yeah,
Let it go.
Okay.
absolutely, and that's why I have the perspective that I do now. But I don't think I could ever go back to another commercial gym and look at it the same way.
I don't even.
You're about to sell your home gym too.
Yeah.
I'm like, this
I feel
guy's
like I'm like a
invested.
snob now. I walk into Planet Fitness and I'm like, just a hydro massage.
Just a hydro massage.
You got nothing else for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be
Like, what is this
the
girl
gym
you just kept
endorsement. Gym endorsement is just following Julia into Planet Fitness.
Oh man.
All right. Well, thank you for being here today, guys.
Of course.
I appreciate
welcome.
you.
Of course.
Thank you for bringing us and.
Thanks
all
for
you
quite
do.
literally providing the space in multiple different ways.
Right.
Yeah, of course. And thanks everyone for watching again, and thanks to Sac Way for having us, and
Yeah.
we'll see you next time.
Hey, yo, what's